Some questions rise quietly in the background of our lives, almost like whispers drifting through the spaces between conversations, and one of the questions most people eventually face is this one: is marriage still relevant today? It is a bold question, a confronting question, one that makes some people nervous and others nostalgic. It is a question that echoes through living rooms, courtrooms, group chats, and private regrets. It is a question shaped by stories passed down through generations and by brand new expectations created in an age of radical independence. As we stand in a world more connected yet more isolated than ever before, the relevance of marriage has become something worth pausing for. Something worth breathing into. Something worth examining with honesty, tenderness, and courage. We live in a time where everything seems to move faster than our hearts can keep up with. Commitments feel heavier, options feel infinite, and the fear of choosing wrong can feel paralyzing. Modern life gives us endless opportunities to reinvent ourselves, to build careers, to explore passions, to craft identities across continents. And in the midst of this whirlwind, the idea of binding your life to another person forever can seem old-fashioned to some, suffocating to others, and quietly hopeful to a few. So let us slow down for a moment. Let us step outside the noise and ask the question sincerely. Not for tradition, not for pressure, not for cultural rituals, but for clarity. For truth, for meaning. Is marriage still relevant today? To answer this, we must explore the deeper currents that run beneath our society. Because marriage is not just a ceremony, a ring, or a legal document. Marriage is a symbol. Marriage is a vow. Marriage is a mirror reflecting our deepest desires and our deepest fears. At its core, marriage represents a longing. The longing to be known and chosen. The longing to be understood in ways that words themselves cannot always express. Human beings do not only crave companionship. They crave significance. They crave the feeling that their life is intertwined with someone who sees their journey not as an inconvenience but as a shared destiny. Even in an age of individualism, the longing for connection has not disappeared. If anything, it has grown louder. We see it in the rise of dating apps, in the number of people searching endlessly for a partner, in the global conversation about love, trust, and commitment. People are still searching. People are still hoping. People are still dreaming of something real. But the world has changed, and so the concept of marriage must also be understood in a new light. Unlike past generations, we no longer marry because society says we must. We no longer marry just to merge families or secure survival. We no longer marry because life demands it. Today, marriage is a choice made in freedom. And because it is a choice made in freedom, its meaning has become deeper in some ways and more fragile in others. The fragility emerges from the fear of losing oneself. Many people worry that marriage means giving up dreams, independence, or identity. Others fear heartbreak, betrayal, or the pain of watching a love once bright fade into routine. These fears are real. They are human. And they deserve to be acknowledged without judgment. But just as there is fragility, there is also depth. Because when you choose marriage today, you are not choosing it out of obligation. You are choosing it out of intention. You are choosing it because you want to grow, not because you have to. You are choosing it because you believe in the power of partnership, even when you know the risks. And choosing love in full awareness of its uncertainty is one of the most courageous acts human beings can perform. Marriage in the modern world is not about losing freedom. It is about expanding it. It is about having someone who pushes you to become the strongest, wisest version of yourself. Someone who tells you the truth you refuse to face. Someone who stands beside you when your doubts are heavy and your confidence is thin. Someone who chooses you on your brightest days and stays with you on your darkest ones. There is a profound strength in knowing that, in a world filled with billions of people, someone has decided that their life is richer with you than without you. That your struggles are worth sharing. That your victories are worth celebrating. That your dreams are worth supporting. This is not a weakness. This is not dependence. This is partnership. And partnership is a force of nature. Still, marriage is not relevant for everyone in the same way. Not everyone needs it. Not everyone wants it. And that is beautiful, because freedom includes the freedom to choose a different kind of life. But to say marriage is no longer relevant would be to ignore the millions of people who continue to seek it, who continue to find meaning within it, who continue to build families, communities, and legacies through it. Marriage remains relevant because commitment remains relevant. Loyalty remains relevant. Growth remains relevant. The desire to build a life that is larger than the sum of its parts remains relevant. Humans have always been builders. We build homes. We build careers. We build friendships. We build memories. And for many, marriage is one of the greatest structures we attempt to build. Not because it is easy, but because it transforms us. Marriage demands patience. It demands vulnerability. It demands communication instead of assumption, empathy instead of ego, forgiveness instead of pride. It pushes us to confront our own flaws, our own insecurities, our own blind spots. It invites us to break generational patterns. It teaches us that love is not only a feeling but a discipline, a daily choice, an act of faith practiced over time. And in a world where so much is temporary, where relationships can be replaced like disposable items, the willingness to choose one person deeply and continuously becomes an act of rebellion. An act of devotion. An act of grounding in a society that often feels unsteady. Some people argue that marriage is outdated. But what is truly outdated is the belief that humans can thrive in isolation. What is outdated is the myth that independence means never relying on anyone. Independence is important, but interdependence is powerful. It is in the shared struggle, the shared joy, the shared responsibility, that we discover the fullest expression of love. Marriage is not perfect. It never was. It never will be. But perfection was never the point. Growth was the point. Connection was the point. Partnership was the point. Marriage becomes irrelevant only when we believe that love is irrelevant. That loyalty is irrelevant. That commitment is irrelevant. That building something that lasts is irrelevant. And despite the cynicism of our age, the human heart does not believe that. Not truly. We still celebrate weddings. We still write love songs. We still send love messages late at night. We still cry when relationships end because deep down we know the truth. Connection matters. Love matters. Partnership matters. These things are woven into the human spirit. So let us be honest. Marriage is not dying. It is evolving. And evolution does not mean disappearance. Evolution means adaptation. It means growth. It means becoming more aligned with truth and less dependent on tradition for tradition's sake. Today, marriage has become more intentional, more thoughtful, more flexible, more compassionate, and in that transformation, it has not lost relevance. It has gained it. Because relevance is not measured by how many people do something. Relevance is measured by how deeply something continues to shape the human experience. And marriage continues to shape families, futures, and emotional landscapes across the globe. But if marriage is to remain relevant, it must be embraced with clarity. Not blindly, not desperately. Not to fill a void. Not to meet an expectation. Marriage must be chosen with a full heart and a clear mind. It must be chosen when two people are ready to build, not ready to escape. It must be chosen when love is strong enough to face reality, not just fantasy. Marriage is not for those who want love to be effortless. Marriage is for those who believe effort is a form of love. It is for those who understand that commitment is not a cage but a canvas. A canvas on which two imperfect humans create something beautiful, messy, meaningful, and entirely their own. So is marriage still relevant today? Yes. Not because society demands it. Not because culture defines it. But because the human heart still longs for partnership, still seeks connection, still dreams of being deeply known and deeply loved. Marriage is relevant because meaning is relevant. Legacy is relevant. Devotion is relevant. And marriage, at its best, is a testament to the human belief that life is richer when shared. That love, when nurtured with intention, has the power to guide us through the most uncertain chapters of our lives. That two people can create a bond strong enough to withstand storms and soft enough to cradle joy. The world may continue to change. Technology may reshape our routines. New philosophies may reshape our expectations. But the timeless human desire to love and be loved remains untouched by the passing of eras. Marriage thrives not because the world stays the same, but because love persists even when everything else changes. So whether you choose marriage or choose another path, choose with awareness. Choose with honesty. Choose with courage. Choose with a commitment to growth. Because that, more than anything, is what keeps love alive in every generation. Marriage is not a relic. It is a reminder. A reminder that even in a world of limitless choices, the choice to build a life with someone can still be one of the most meaningful decisions a person ever makes. A reminder that love is not diminished by time, only redefined by it. A reminder that connection is as essential today as it has ever been. If love still matters, marriage still matters. If hope still matters, marriage still matters. If becoming the best version of ourselves still matters, then walking alongside someone who inspires that growth is not outdated but profoundly human. So let the world evolve. Let traditions shift. Let expectations be rewritten. But let us also remember that relevance is not found in trends. It is found in truth. And the truth is simple. Marriage is not perfect. Marriage is not easy. Marriage is not guaranteed. But marriage remains one of the most powerful expressions of human love, courage, growth, and unity that this world has ever known. And for that reason, yes, marriage is still relevant today. It is relevant not because the past demands it but because the future still hungers for the depth it offers. It is relevant because love remains the single most transformative force on earth. It is relevant because two people choosing each other fully, freely, and faithfully is an act of hope so bold that it transcends every era. Marriage remains relevant because we remain human. And the human heart has not changed as much as the world around it.